Trust your intuition. Oh, just trust your intuition. What does that mean? What is intuition? Where does it come from? Why does it exist? And why should we trust it? First question, what is intuition? Intuition is the thing that keeps you alive. This is how I view intuition. A lot of other people will see it some other way, but for me, intuition is how you stay alive, right? It's the part of you that like your butthole gets really tight when you get close to an edge. That's intuition saying, "Hey, bro, step back because if you don't, you might fall off and die." Intuition is the thing that when you smell a plate of food, you go, oh, something is off about that. Or when you're about to get in a car with someone and maybe you sense that they've been drinking or are impaired in some type of way, intuition is the thing that stops you in your tracks and it goes, hey, that may not be the safest thing for you. Where does intuition come from? Well, in human design, it comes from the spleen. The spleen is one of three awareness centers: survival awareness, intuition, health, thriving; cognitive awareness, visualization, certainty; and emotional awareness, feelings, moods, relationships, and spirituality. Intuition starts here. If you have a defined spleen, this means that your intuition is going to give you insight about what feels safe for you, about what's healthy for you. And if your spleen is white, like it is here, that means it's undefined, meaning that your intuitive hits are really going to be telling you more about other people, their sense of safety, and not necessarily your own. Intuition is not your emotions, and it's not your visualizations or your mind stuff. Again, there are different centers for that. That's visualization and mind stuff, and that's emotions and feelings. This over here is, again, safety. Intuition helps keep you safe. The reason you want to learn how to trust your intuition is because there's an organ inside your body called the spleen that literally just scans your body for viruses, bacterias, and when it finds them, it releases white blood cells. So, energetically, this energetic organ called the spleen is also doing that, scanning your body and scanning the environment and trying to assess what's safe, what's not safe. The reason you want to trust your intuition is because you cannot be dependent on something outside of yourself to let you know whether or not you feel safe, even with an undefined spleen. See, the undefined spleen is going to scan the environment and it's going to tell you about the safety of the environment, but then it's still up to you to decide how you want to proceed in that environment or if you want to proceed at all. Now, just because you get the intuitive hit does not mean that you're always going to follow it. And in fact, this is one of the sufferings that people experience a lot is having the intuitive hit, knowing what's actually going to be safe versus what's not, and then going against their intuition. Now, the only way to build up your intuition is to literally practice listening to it. When you get stopped in your tracks by some kind of like subtle feeling or a whisper or a ringing in your ears or just like a sudden cough or like stomach tightness or head fog, pay attention to that. Your body is trying to send you signals and it uses pain as a way of sending you information. The more you numb and ignore the pain, the more you're numbing and ignoring the intuition, which will ultimately lead you to habitually choosing places, experiences, people that are inherently unsafe. If you want to learn about your unique flavor of intuition, look at your body graph. In this example here, this person has a defined spleen and they have it defined by this gate 48. Gate 48 is the fear that something is lacking depth. So a lot of this person's intuition will come as a result of being afraid that something is lacking depth. And because of that fear, that creates an awareness around what things actually have depth and what things are faking it. With that being said, all of these undefined gates, 57, the gentle intuition; 44, alertness; 50, this over here is the fear of the future; this over here is the fear of the past catching up to you; this one's the fear of too much responsibility. All of these undefined gates are susceptible to having other people's fear invade those spaces within your body. For instance, you might spend a lot of time worried about taking on too much responsibility. But according to that chart, there really is not a set amount of responsibility for it's going to be in flux. Sometimes you're going to be able to take on more responsibility, sometimes you're going to be able to take on less. So it's not about having a fixated way of dealing with that fear. However, because of society and the way things are, somebody might think, man, I don't have a way of knowing whether or not this is too much responsibility for me, and they'll get hung up on that. Which, in other words, is like you're hung up on a conditioning that isn't even natural for you anyway. So, if you want to learn more about your unique style of intuition, Visit ReikiMarco.com, scroll down, enter your information here. There are custom reports available for $20 and $13. Get this one if you're ready to transform your whole life. If you're easily overwhelmed, go for this one. You can also read about why you would want to purchase one of these. And if you want to do a one-on-one reflection with me, I do personal readings and reflections for relationships, which is basically just me decoding it all for you. So if you're ready to dial in your intuition, you know where to go.